I'm saying in a 1970 Rolite retractor wall camper trailer. For those of you who might not be familiar with Rolites, they're rather unique in the fact that they are a hard-sided pop-up camper. Basically, the top goes up and down and the walls fold out so that you have a full-size travel trailer when it's put together. They were designed by a fellow by the name of Leo Hagenson, and he actually won a Minnesota Inventors Contest first place award for this design back in 1958. They were built in the town of Grantsburg, Wisconsin, from the early 60s through the middle 70s, and they came in a bunch of different models. They had a 13 foot, a 15 foot, a 17 foot. This one is a 19 foot. They also had a 21-foot double axle, and they even had some smaller pickup collapsible campers that they made for a while. I previously had a 13-foot, but I sold that a number of years ago. This one I bought a couple years ago off of Craigslist. The nice thing about it was that it was towable, so I could tow it up to where I live. And secondly, the woman was only asking $100 for it, and for that price, you kind of figure, what the heck. The bad part was that the lifting mechanism was broken, so there was no way I could lift it up to see what the inside looked like. But I drove my wife's minivan down, hitched it up, and towed it 200 miles to where I live. And it towed real nice, and the skin on the outside looked pretty good. Once I got it raised up, it needed some work, but I knew that going in. On the other hand, the inside was really complete, and it was in pretty good condition, so I was real happy with the purchase. If you're thinking of fixing up an old camper like this, and you come across a Rolite, you should really consider it. The nice thing about them is that because they're collapsible, you can get to a standard garage door and work on inside the elements. And secondly, because the walls are all on hinges, it's no big thing to take off a wall or two, or even all four, and you're not trying to get a 4x8 sheet of plywood to a little camper door or working in tight, cramped spaces. I'm just an old guy in my 70s, and I don't have a lot of experience in doing this type of stuff, but outside of my wife giving me a little help making the curtains and having my son come over to help me lift a wall on or off after I disconnected it, I could do all the work on this myself. I hate to admit it, but I'm old enough that I can actually remember when these campers first came out. I thought they were pretty neat way back when, and I still think they're kind of neat. I hope you do too, and I hope you enjoy this video, and thanks for watching. Here are a couple of pictures of the Rolite after I towed it 200 miles up to my place. As you can see, the skin seemed to be in pretty good shape, and it towed real nice, so I was pretty pleased with the purchase. I just put a couple magnetic trailer lights on it to get it home. Once I got in the workshop, I could get a better look at what I bought. It was a tight fit to get it raised up, as you need a full 8 feet of headroom. I had to take the tires off just to get enough room to get it put up, but with the help of some jacks and such, I got it raised up and the walls folded out. I was pretty pleased as to what I found on the inside. The wall paneling was all in pretty good shape, the glass was all there, and all the appliances were in good shape. Even the original light shades, cushions, and the original curtains were all there. This is not to say it did not have its problems. It was pretty evident that the whole of the ceiling would have to be rebuilt, but this is a common problem with old Rolites. One of the immediate problems is that there was quite a bit of wood rot in the lower back of the camper. This was the reason that the lifting mechanism wouldn't work, as the frame had rotted away to where it no longer held the lower sprockets in place, and this had broken the lifting chain. I decided I had to remove the rear 4x8 sheet of plywood subfloor. This required the removal of all the framing of the rear settee and the removal of the shower and toilet setup. To make the rear floor easier to work on, I removed both side walls and removed the little kitchen unit from the left side wall and put it between the dinette benches. In this picture, the rear subfloor has been removed and I can better examine the lifting linkage. I next removed the rear wall because, as you can see, there was quite a bit of wood rot along the lower edge. The main problem with the left rear was that the lower horizontal stud had rotted away, which is why the lifting mechanism didn't work. As a result, I put in a whole new lower stud. As you can see from the inside, once this was put in, I could run the rod holding the lower sprocket through it, which stabilized it and made it function once again. Although not all that necessary, I decided to replace the next 4 feet of the subfloor just because all the cabinetry had been removed. It is still a messy job as these have to be removed pretty much in pieces. Here is the completed subfloor. I think this shows how it's a lot easier to work on a Rolite as opposed to a small enclosed camper trailer. Finally, I could reinstall the back end of the camper. I then turned my attention to the roof. First, I had to start by removing the old ceiling. A major problem was the left side of the top. As you can see by these pictures, it had been patched and repaired so many times that it was no longer salvageable. It was a whole lot easier to make and install a whole new side panel. Of course, the old cross supports had to be removed and new cross supports were then installed with new styrofoam insulation. Once this was completed, I could then install new beadboard 4x8 panels. Here is the mostly completed top with the front overhead cabinet reinstalled. Once the top was complete, I started working on the inside. I was able to get some new dinette cushions off of eBay as the old ones were pretty mildewy. These new ones were takeoffs off a new motorhome. I installed new laminate flooring. I should have probably just used linoleum or tile as laminate flooring is quite a bit heavier. But I did like the way it looked. I also painted the cabinet and benches just to add a little more color to the interior. Once the cabinet doors were put back on and new curtains were installed, the front half of the interior was mostly finished. My original plan for the back was just to install a single-sized mattress, as this would still allow me to lower the left front sidewall. However, once I put it in there, I decided it took up too much room, and it made it difficult to reach the bathroom. As a result, I trimmed 9 inches off the mattress, making it 30 inches wide instead of 39. This also gave me enough room in back to install an air conditioner which feds back to the rear storage area. I also installed PEX water lines back to the water heater. Once the bathroom surround was put in place, I could reinstall the right rear sidewall. You can compare differences by contrasting this photo of the remade interior to a similar photo taken from a Rolite brochure. There are advantages to both, certainly, but I personally like just having a bed all made up as well as having the air conditioner. This roll-top cabinet is one I made out of a roll-top computer desk someone was giving away free on Craigslist. Here is a picture of the wall cabinet that came with the trailer, and as you can see by the brochure photo, it was intended as a place to hang clothes. However, the roll-type opening allows me to put a flat-screen television in it. This works out pretty good, as I could pull it out and face it towards the dinette, or turn it around and face it the other way if I want to watch a movie in bed. Then when I'm done, I can push it back in and close up the cabinet so it's out of the way. Here is a closer view of the galley. It has an overhead cabinet, a pull-out cutting board, and 2 drawers, a little sink, and a 3-burner stove and an oven. Here is a removable hutch on top of a gas or electric refrigerator. Here is the toilet shower combination. This is the dinette with the table up. This is it with the table in the quarter up position. And finally, this is the dinette made into a bed. On the right side is the propane furnace, the TV cabinet, the bed, and the air conditioner. Here is the 50-year-old camper hooked up to the 20-year-old Chevy Blazer. If you would like more information about Rolites, there's a wonderful website called Pop-Up Camper History put together by Joel Sylvie. It has a wealth of information about all sorts of pop-up campers and a great deal of information about Rolites. As you can see by the sidebar on this page, he has posted most of the sales brochures, advertisements, price lists, even a user manual. I have posted the URL there in red, or just search pop-up camper history. In an effort to connect with other Rolite owners, I've started a little Facebook group called Rolite Camper Trailers. It's interesting to see what other Rolite owners have done with their trailers, and we try to share information and tips on repairing them. If you're looking for a Rolite, I try to post any I see for sale, and I do see 2 or 3 that come across every year. You're also welcome to post any Rolite you wish to sell. I have also put the URL there in red, or you can just search for Rolite Camper Trailers under Facebook. Well, that completes the video on the makeover of this trailer. It's just kind of an overview, but I hope you find it helpful. If you're attempting to restore an old camper or fixing up an old Rolite, I wish you the best of luck. It's be kind of a fun project. And when you're done, you end up with something that's fairly useful. One thing I would advise is probably don't put any strict timetables on it, because it seems everything takes you 3 or 4 times longer than you think it should. But good luck and happy camping.